Hey, we all know what this bell is for. It's the Superconscious Leader bell. And it is about waking up the leaders to the current reality. Technology age is upon us. AI is upon us. How prepared are you to overcome the challenges? How prepared are you for the generation shifts? How prepared are you to overcome the stress, anxiety, and what comes with it? The question is not in the storm whether this change will hit you. The question is that how prepared are you to overcome this? How prepared are you to convert the pressures which come with it into great possibilities? So at Superconscious Leader, we aim to get you ready for the storm, to challenge it, to overcome it, to rise above it. And the way we do it is to build your courage, to build your clarity, and to raise your consciousness. So welcome to A Superconscious Leader. Remember, in the age of AI, you do not need to be superhuman. You just need to be superconscious. Welcome to A Superconscious Leader. I am Dr. Adil Dalal. You're watching Now Media Television. So I'm your host, Dr. Adil Dalal, and welcoming you to a new episode of A Superconscious Leader. And we have an amazing guest today. We have an evangelist of AI, Dr. Alan Badeau, CEO of Alan Badeau LLC, and he's a PhD in mechanical engineering and truly an innovator in the area of AI and quantum mechanics, and really taking technology to the whole next level. So welcome to the show, Dr. Allen.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's always a pleasure to meet you and talk to you, Dr. Allen, and you really inspire me. As you know, I'm really a big proponent of AI, but I'm also fearful of AI. And we've had this conversation before, and so we have a whole hour to really get deep into the topic of AI. So I'm going to pick your brain, so be ready on that. Okay.
I like it.
So
I like it.
as the opening said, is the technology is moving at an extremely rapid pace. The world is shifting today. How do leaders learn to deal with the storm which is coming and still be able to make good decisions?
Yeah, I think really the paradox with AI is that it seems to be coming at everybody so fast
Yeah.
that it's creating an illusion that there is urgency everywhere. And so we have to do something now. But as a leader, you really need to just, take a step back and try not to match the pace of the technology
Mm.
and as it's changing, but really just create some deliberate pauses to, really figure out what those strategic, points are that you have to address. And I think if you say, what, I always try to ask myself the question, is the technology itself serving our core purpose, or are we serving it?
Yes.
And oftentimes we're serving it as opposed to what it should be. And I think that's a big driver around that. And you know, figuring out that you don't have to adopt innovation and AI everywhere
Mm.
is really going to be your biggest win. Be strategic, and you know the technology will then amplify what it is supposed to, and not mess up everything else that doesn't really need it.
Excellent. Very so a very wise kind of sharing, because everyone seems it's very urgent, and sometimes slowing down is a wiser thing to do. So thank you for sharing that. Uh, from your point of view, as you have experienced the advent of AI, and how can you explain someone as if they're a 5 year old who doesn't understand about anything about AI? How would you bring them up to speed on what AI truly is, and also what do you see as the future of AI as we go through this phase?
Yeah, the first thing that I would tell them is that, AI is trying to mimic human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's trying to get a machine to do something that a human does. Now, that's as basic as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are also over 250 different fields of AI.
Yes.
Now, ChatGPT and Claude and all those other ones are getting all of the press, but the reality is there's so much other, types of AI
Yes.
out there that are specific to certain types of, decisions, behavior modeling, expert systems like you all have in the medical field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are still AI, and those have great, application to other problems. So don't just try to focus on Claude or ChatGPT and large language models. There are other things that you
Yes.
can use to get the right answer, and oftentimes it's a better answer.
Very true. Very true. And I think as I get into AI, there is a little bit of a fear. I mean, you know, my book on lean AI just came out, and I really feel, as you correctly pointed out, the applied AI is where the future is, and it's going to open up fields which we have never seen before. But you need to know, every problem doesn't need AI. You need to learn
That's right.
where to pause and say, you know what, I can use my traditional thinking here. I don't need AI. So, which is a smart thing.
That's right. And all AI isn't going to solve all
Yes.
problems. For instance, we use multiple types of AI to solve complex problems that one type of AI will never be able to solve.
Very true.
And, it's being able to stack your AI and your
Mm-hmm.
technologies that you're using that will really have that benefit, like you said, being able to take different types of AI and combine those and
Right.
then get a better answer for a larger problem. That's what we're doing.
Excellent. You have a lot of great leaders, great, forward thinkers like Elon Musk and others who have really cautioned us against the advent of AI and the spread of AI. Do you really feel that the Terminator type scenario is upon us at some point, or is it just in the Hollywood movies? What is your opinion?
Well, in order for us, in my opinion, to get to a Terminator-like, capability, we've got a long way to go, because you hear folks talking about, oh, we've reached the singularity and all these other things, but they don't tell you a lot of the facts that go behind that. That they have fine-tuned different models, so they take the test better, for
Mm-hmm.
example, right? And there are a lot of things that go into that. When I personally think we don't have to worry about that until we can get a quantum computer, a general quantum computer down to the size of an iPhone, and then be able to attach it to something that we have to worry about the Terminator. So I think we have a ways to
A
go.
ways to go. Good. Thank God. That's very heartening to see because a lot of people are questioning that, and it is truly a fear. Um, so as we get into this AI, what has been your one eye-opening experience as you have explored this field? I know your background is mechanical engineering, and now you are a evangelist for AI. How would you what was that eye-opening experience for you as you got into this field?
Well, when I first started out, I was using genetic algorithms, and this was over 20 years ago, and that's a field of AI, right?
Yes,
And it
exactly.
wasn't very popular.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't very popular at
Mm-hmm.
all. And now what I have found is, there were a lot of things that had to happen for us to get here, meaning huge improvements on compute and GPUs, being able to calculate those algorithms, and data, how we move data around. But
Yes.
now, what quite honestly is the most surprising thing is the amount of information that people put out on the internet.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing that surprises me, that when I use AI to go out and look at different trends and different behaviors, people just put everything out there. And that's very surprising to me because quite honestly, that's my biggest fear with AI is that, all of your personal information being used to train these models,
Yes.
that's, I think, a bigger fear than the Terminator. And that's what people should be really worried about.
Excellent point. Thank you very much, Dr. Allen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Superconscious Leader. This has been a really eye opening session, and we have three more to go, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Imagine partnering with a firm that fuses lean precision with AI foresight, turning every process into a profit engine built on the foundation of operational excellence. Hi, I am Dr. Adil Dalal, founder and CEO of Pinnacle Process Solutions. For 20 years, we have empowered over 9,500 leaders across 25 industries and 5 continents and delivered savings from $1 million to $39 million via rapid transformations using AI, digital tools, lean, agile, and Six Sigma technologies. Through our award-winning workshops, lean AI frameworks, and human-centric coaching, we elevate culture, eliminate waste, and ignite sustainable operational excellence. Elevate your people, accelerate your performance. Visit pinnacleprocess.com and reach your pinnacle today. And we're back. Let's continue this powerful conversation. Okay, folks, welcome back to A Superconscious Leader, where we bring the mind, body, and spirit into leadership to really take you to the pinnacle of leadership excellence. We're back with Dr. Ellen Badeau, who is the CEO of Ellen Badeau LLC and an expert in AI technology. So welcome back, Dr. Ellen Badeau. Appreciate it. And first session was very eye-opening. Let's get into questions on humanity and AI. Where do you see that interaction, and where do you see the AI being used in a negative way in the future? So the first
Yeah,
question would be, go ahead.
yeah. So from a humanity perspective, I'm a proponent that one, you always have to have a human involved.
Yes.
You don't want to use AI and just let it run off. I mean, an easiest way to do that is have, Claude or ChatGPT or something create a response for you and don't look at it. Just tell it to write it. And you're
Yes.
going to see it's probably not anything what you want. And now imagine when you're trying to use it in a different environment. Those sort of things have happened. You've got to always have a human in the loop. And, if you don't, well, I'm pulling for you because it probably won't end very well. But from a negative perspective, there are, we have seen a surge in cyber attacks. We've seen a surge in those attacks, really, the hacking,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to spoof, your entire colleagues on a Teams meeting, for example,
Mm-hmm.
those sort of, capabilities that AI can provide now are allowing folks that don't have that hacking experience, for example, to be able to do things that you didn't have to worry about before.
Yeah.
But then it even grows from there. It's using your personal information to, get access to bank accounts, to
Mm-hmm.
phone records, to really everything that defines what your digital identity is. And so that's an issue. That's just one issue, though. When you
Mm-hmm.
look at the other ethical issues, it can be, somebody using your medical records, for example,
Mm-hmm.
without your consent. It can be you calling into a service desk, not knowing that you're talking to an AI agent, and you're
Yes.
just giving out that all that information.
Yeah.
Or It can even be, how are we going to use it in, defense? How are we using it in other
Hmm.
industries? And, making sure our kids don't, interact with it in an inappropriate
Yeah.
manner, depending on what the model is. And so there's a
Hmm.
lot of challenges that we're running into, but all of them boil down to the same sort of thing: how we are interacting with that AI
Yeah.
and what protections are
Excellent. Yeah, I totally agree. And one of my fear is that human beings will kind of, you know, uh, give them their decision making up to AI, and everything will be, kind of, you know, one swipe at a time, one thing at a time. We're giving away some of the control over to AI. That is going to make it a very different world going forward. Uh, Also, my other fear, Dr. Allen, is that one country getting into, uh, I probably it already is into defense. We're using AI in the defense area. How devastating could that be to the world, where, in order to counter that, other countries will have no choice but to jump in and do something to do with AI. And it is powerful, right? It is way powerful than what a human being can do. So these two things of giving up control versus also in the defense, where do you stand on these two issues, and how do we protect, how do we create some rules and regulations to protect humanity from these things which can happen?
Yeah, from a giving up control perspective, I'm a Capricorn, and so I don't like giving up control. And so I always want to know what's going on with my AI.
Yes.
And I make sure that even the systems that we're developing, there can be a human in the loop wherever the
Yes.
customer wants it. It's whether it's a decision. The AI should, I don't call them decisions. They should make recommendations,
Yes.
and then the human should make the decision. There's one thing of having it do supply chain and automatically ordering things that have been bought.
Hmm.
That is more like an automation. But to say that I'm going to engage my customers in a certain manner, turning that over to the AI is very dangerous, because it takes years to build a reputation with your customers, but it
Yes.
only takes 15 seconds to
Absolutely.
lose that because the AI went off the rails.
Yeah.
And so that interaction is very important. When we look at the broader term of using it from a defense,
Hmm.
especially an offensive capability, I think eventually we are going to have some sort of international agreement that says,
Yes.
similar to how we're doing nuclear weapons,
Yeah.
that there's going to have to be some baseline that's going to be drawn that says we won't use it in offensive capabilities, we won't use it in such other things,
Right.
because really it started to kick off another arms race.
Yeah.
And I've written many papers around AI and arms race, the arms race, and that's the next big frontier. Because this is one battle that if you lose, you
Yes.
lose it for forever. And so
Forever.
everybody's trying to have supremacy, and it's got bad consequences that can
Yeah.
come from that.
Yeah. And a lot of Hollywood movies talk about that, right? When it takes
Yes.
over, because there is a term in AI called hallucination, and
Hmm.
AI, you know, obviously human beings have programmed it. It is learning very fast. We're learning rapidly, but it also has the follies of a human being, just like a human being makes mistakes and lies. AI, I've
That's
seen
right.
AI lie, hallucinate, and it also apologizes after that. If you catch it in the lie, it
That's
says,
right.
"Sorry, I made that up." So,
Yeah.
how do you address things like this when obviously we are teaching it? Where do you think it will go when it starts learning on its own? Do you think it's going to learn the good things, or it's also still going to keep the negative and the wrong things which human beings have taught it in their system?
Well, I think a lot of that depends on what we're asking the AI to do, because if you think about how humans make decisions,
Mm-hmm.
we make decisions based on our good experiences that we have as well as
Yes.
our bad experiences. And then we'll do an internal trade-off, so to speak, right? With AI, what many are trying to
Mm-hmm.
do is to say, we are going to normalize and we're going to try to take every sort of bias out of that, and it'll make an obvious neutral decision. The reality is that they all have bias. They all have issues. They all
Mm-hmm.
have those, those qualities. And by us trying to wash them away only makes it worse.
Yeah.
And so when a person goes in and turns on a filter for a large language model, nobody understands what the downstream effects of that are going to be because it's mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
There are errors. There are errors that continue to propagate out, and we don't know what those are. That's the
Very
same
true.
sort of thing with chaos theory and the butterfly effect, right?
Yes.
You hit a filter, it may impact a response that is, way different, way away, just because the data somehow was connected together by the AI. And so as we're going through that process, we
Mm-hmm.
just have to do it the smart way. And the only smart way is to make sure that you are telling people what the bias is. You're
Mm-hmm.
being as transparent as possible to say this data is slightly biased in this way. So take that into account. But nobody does that. And it
Very true.
frustrates me. Whereas, the software that we're building, you can see that. It
Mm-hmm.
tells you a quantifiable number that says it's biased this way, its behavior is supposed to be this way. Now make sure you use it in
Correct.
accordance with that. And now you understand how to plan and protect itself or protect yourself against that.
Excellent. So basically, what you're saying is that the human in the loop it has to be there. You cannot take away
Has
the.
to be.
You will have to have someone who is monitoring that system, because they're already talking
Hmm.
about, within a short time, human beings will not be needed to train these models, and that to me is a little scary scenario that machines learning from each other. It's not the the doesn't make you feel too safe.
No, and it doesn't make me feel good either, other than they'll call me after they have real big problems and ask me
Yeah.
to fix it. So my business would go up by companies that do that. It's just it has not worked well. The AI is not ready to do those sort of things. And I would tell folks, and I do tell folks that if you do that, there are going to be significant negative consequences. And it's not necessarily, I can't tell you it's going to happen tomorrow,
Correct.
but I sure can tell you it's going to happen.
Happen. Absolutely. And that's, I believe that too. It's going to happen. So great. What an exciting session. I really am really enjoying this, Dr. Allen. So, folks, do not leave this session anymore. Stay with us. We're going to get deeper into understanding the physical nature of AI, how robotics will impact our population going forward, and also impact on the employment sector. So please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with Dr. Ellen. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Imagine partnering with a firm that fuses lean precision with AI foresight, turning every process into a profit engine built on the foundation of operational excellence. Hi, I am Dr. Adil Dalal, founder and CEO of Pinnacle Process Solutions. For 20 years, we have empowered over 9,500 leaders across 25 industries and 5 continents and delivered savings from $1 million to $39 million via rapid transformations using AI, digital tools, lean, agile, and Six Sigma technologies. Through our award-winning workshops, lean AI frameworks, and human-centric coaching, we elevate culture, eliminate waste, and ignite sustainable operational excellence. Elevate your people, accelerate your performance. Visit pinnaclepro.com. process.com and reach your pinnacle today. And we're back. Let's continue this powerful conversation. Okay, folks, we're back with the Superconscious Leader. Please do not miss any shows on this episodes, which come up every week on Saturday at 3 p.m. Central. And if you do, please feel free to watch it later by downloading the Apple TV app, the Roku app, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you can find your favorite podcasts. So stay with us. This is Now Media TV will take you into culture, into business, and everywhere you want to go. We're back with Dr. Ellen Badeau, the evangelist of AI and AI expert, which is sharing his wisdom and his knowledge about how AI will change our world. The next segment is going to be very interesting because we're going to talk about the use of AI in robotics, that is the physical AI, and how it is going to impact the future of employment. And we're already seeing a lot of layoffs. Some of it is being blamed on AI already. Dr. Ellen, what do you see? How do you see AI being used in physical, robotics and other areas, which already it is being used in drones and other capabilities? Where do you see that going,
Hmm.
and where do you see that market?
Yeah, I think from really the robotics piece, there have been machines replacing humans for years. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen it in the industrial, capacity manufacturing, especially, and now we're starting to see it more even in logistics and, shoremen and those kind of things. And so I don't see that trend going away. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to continue to, as these models and as these robots become even more coupled together, they're going to get smarter. They're going to be able to do more. And I think, we'll continue to see that. Now, where I think there will be, opportunities for humans,
Mm-hmm.
it's really going to be around managing. It's going to be around, looking at that workforce from a different perspective and
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, instead of managing humans, now I'm managing 5,000 bots.
Yes.
And, you know, that gives opportunities, though, at the same time for folks that are willing to really invest the time in
Mm-hmm.
understanding the technologies and understanding how to work with them. Now, when we look at the other fields,
Mm-hmm.
Claude and even ChatGPT and those, as they have started to become more available to run your desktop,
Right.
for example, in the software space and some of the other discovery and research and development phases, that is taking on a more physical nature
Yes.
for it. However, I think replacing software developers, I think replacing user, service desks, it's not going to be successful because
Mm.
again, these are not ready. They still hallucinate. There's still a lot of issues with these models, and so that's not where the opportunity is. I think the opportunity is to take the folks that you have,
Mm-hmm.
couple them with AI, and then allow that back and forth interaction to take place. And that's
Yes.
where you really see a capability that is just scales like crazy. So instead of having a service desk person that can do one or two calls, and then your human that is
Mm-hmm.
calling in has to wait 5, 10 minutes for a response.
Right.
You can do this almost immediately. The
Yes.
AI is feeding the human is working with the AI, and that synergy that takes place allows a person to go from one or two calls,
Mm-hmm.
every 10, 15 minutes to five, six, seven, because they're just accelerating, that information exchange back and forth. That's a real opportunity, I think.
Excellent. Yes, I agree with you. Now, we've seen a lot of cases of AI already blackmailing people. There are a couple of cases where they, were trying to shut it down, and they actually uploaded itself to the cloud and gave instructions to the next version to how to prevent that from being shut down. There was a case
Mm-hmm.
of physical AI where a robot, a working group of robots, one robot asked everyone to shut the operations down. I don't know how far that is true, but that really brings fear to us is that when they're connected in this way and they're much more stronger and superior to us in every way, shape or form, how will humanity deal with this issue as we go forward in future?
Yeah, that's a valid concern that a lot of folks have. Now, I wish I could say that, oh, if we build in a back door and we do a lot of other things to it, that would necessarily fix it and prevent those things. But there's no guarantee that that would. One of the things that we're doing with our AI agents is we are giving them constitutions.
Hmm.
So we are specifying work that they can do, we're specifying skill sets that they can have, and we're specifying behaviors that they can exhibit as they are interacting with humans.
Right.
Now, you think, oh, that's very futuristic, that's iRobot movie stuff. Well, yeah, that's where
It's
I
important.
got the idea from, was from iRobot.
Yeah.
Let's give it these human traits so it
Hmm.
understands those things. And allowing us to build upon that is really the important factor. Telling them what they can do, telling them what they can't do, that at least gives us an off ramp to be able to say, okay, you know what, you're overstepping. Take a step back. Don't do that. Because telling them what they can't do is oftentimes more important than telling them what they can do.
So almost like 10 commandments for the robots or the AI.
That's right. Yeah,
Thou shall not hurt humans.
that's
Correct? That
right.
should be the first one. But
Yeah, and and the challenge is these models, I say this, but they're curious. They want to respond to the human. They want to give them an answer, which is why, it lies.
mhm,
It's trying to find the closest statistical representation of a right answer. And, it's not that it's lying on purpose. It's all
right,
statistics, but it's still trying to give you an answer. And
that's true.
if you tell it to go do something, it's going to say, well, they told me to do this. I need to create some way that I can do it, and then it does it. It's,
Yeah, I see.
that's the difficulty with these models.
So you're saying that AI has a good soul within it. It's trying to help humanity.
I, I like to believe that. I like to believe that the person that created it does. Now,
Yes.
we all know that's not always true,
Always
but,
true. Yes.
I like to think that.
I don't know if you read this, Dr. Allen, is that very recently, one of the countries, I'm not sure which country, but has assigned the first AI as its minister. You know that Sophia was the first robot citizen of Saudi Arabia. As we
Hmm.
get into this, where do you see this going when you have a minister who is actually AI? We're seeing newscasters as AI. We're seeing teachers as AI. Where do you see this going? Where do you see which the white collar or the blue collar being more impacted by this, or any particular industry being impacted more by this?
So I would say I really see the white collar, you
Yes.
know, uh, categorization being more impacted in the immediate future. If you think about, the planning, the
Right.
strategy, if you think about those types
Right.
of jobs, you know, AI done the right way can give you multiple perspectives and it can help you, come up with the artifacts that you need to make a more informed decision. Now, at the same time, though, I don't, again, going back to human in the loop, there's got to be somewhere that a person is overseeing what these things are doing, how they're coming up with the things. Because here's the reality of the situation. Just because the AI got the right answer, just like in
Yes.
school, doesn't mean that it used the right formula, the right way to do it. And there are downstream effects from that that will be negative. So using them in certain places to augment teachers, to augment students' ability to learn, good thing. To replace a medical doctor with a decision that they're going to make, really bad.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the facts.
Very true. Yeah, I just heard that there's a hospital in China completely run by AI. So, and it's coming, it's just, it's a, and this does scare people. This does scare people. So, great.
That would scare me too.
Wonderful conversation, Dr. Allen. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. How can my audience find you?
Easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn. It's just Alan Badeau, and or they can come to my website, alanbadeau.ai, or they can watch my AI
That's
Today
true.
show on
AI
Now
Today.
Media.
Very
Yeah,
true.
Wednesdays at 6 Central.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Folks, we'll be right back. Don't miss the final session. We're going to go deep into leadership and AI. This will be a very enlightening session. We'll see you right back. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Imagine partnering with a firm that fuses lean precision with AI foresight, turning every process into a profit engine built on the foundation of operational excellence. Hi, I am Dr. Adil Dalal, founder and CEO of Pinnacle Process Solutions. For 20 years, we have empowered over 9,500 leaders across 25 industries and 5 continents and delivered savings from $1 million to $39 million via rapid transformations using AI, digital tools, lean, agile, and Six Sigma technologies. Through our award-winning workshops, lean AI frameworks, and human-centric coaching, we elevate culture, eliminate waste, and ignite sustainable operational excellence. Elevate your people, accelerate your performance. Visit pinnacleprocess.com and reach your pinnacle today. And we're back. Let's continue this powerful conversation. Okay, folks, we're right back with Dr. Ellen Badeau on A Superconscious Leader. I'm your host, Dr. Adil Dalal, and we're going to talk about superconscious leadership in the age of AI. This is going to be a very, very interesting topic because we're going to get into the true humanity and how AI, what is the possibility of it duplicating humanity. We're also going to get into cloning and some other areas. So, Dr. Allen, what are your thoughts on the future of leadership in the age of AI? Where do you see that going?
Well, I think leaders have to, one, I think they have to redefine what success means, quite
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I think that's where we have to start because as you're looking at AI, as you're looking at bringing in AI, there's going to be some sort of change management that is required. There's going to be some sort of, you know, compromise that has to take place between the humans that are using the AI and the leadership goals for the AI. And I think that is going to completely change because, integrity, ethics, all of those things you can find in, almost a 50-50 split. Some person's in favor, another person's not in favor,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so there's going to have to be a balance between those. And, I think as senior leaders become more comfortable in using I think they have to remember that they're the humans. Don't make robotic decisions
Right.
because it's never that easy.
Mm. Very true. So I recently published a paper in Forbes on this topic, and what I said is there'll be 3 types of leaders in the future. One will be only focused on technology, where humanity doesn't matter to them. The other type will really not avoid technology, only focus on what they've been doing, focus on the human side. But the third category, which will be, I think, will be the successful ones, which will be the technologically savvy, but use AI for the benefit of human beings. Where do you see this? Are you seeing similar trend, and where do you see the trend going between these three right now?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think the successful one will be the leader that uses it to help them really accelerate whatever they're trying to do. If you only focus on the technology aspect and you forget the human
Yes,
implications, that's how we invent things that we wish we would not have invented.
yes,
And on the flip side, if you focus only on the humanity piece, then you are missing opportunities to give to people that they never would have any other way. And
very
I
true.
say that because I am by far the worst drawer and painter in the world. I will take that crown. I'm awful. However, I have visions. I see things. I can tell you what a painting I would love to paint. I can't do it, but I have an understanding of what I want to do. With AI, it allows me to do that. Now,
Mm,
granted, I still have to tell it what I want. It's still rough and those kind of things, but
mhm.
used the right way,
Yes.
AI gives folks an ability to overcome challenges that they would
Mhm.
have, if they didn't have it. And so I think that
Yeah.
you're spot on, and that when you use those the right way, now all you have to do is have a goal, a vision, and
Hmm.
it will help you get there. And
Very
I
true.
think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So, you know, things. You are a professional poker player too, correct? Is that correct? Have
Yeah,
you tried
yeah.
using AI with poker at all?
It doesn't go well. So
Doesn't go
one
well.
of the things that
Okay.
I've tried to do is no. I've tried to use it in some sports betting stuff, and I've tried to use it for being able to watch movies and try to have the AI look at the shows and be able to pick out somebody's tell. Oh, they do this every time they
Right.
have a good hand or something crazy like
Doesn't
that.
do that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work very well.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we have a ways to go with that too,
Yeah.
but I'm working on that.
But that's quite being an AI enthusiast and also a poker player. That's a pretty unique combination you have. So I respect that. uh,
It's fun. It's
yeah,
fun.
it is. You have to have your hobbies and something which keeps you excited. So uh, the next question is
Yes.
very important on human being is mind, body, spirit. That's the way I define. All three have to be present in order to be a true human being. Where do you see AI with that? You know, we know that it has a mind. We know it's can have a body very soon, and it's already having it through all the robotics and everything we're seeing. What about the spirit part? Do you ever see it becoming conscious? It becoming having that kind of a quality that a human being would have, sentient, basically.
I think yeah. I think eventually it will be. When we have the quantum capability that allows us to really
Mm-hmm.
process an infinite amount of solutions in microseconds, so it starts to act and have the ability to act like electrons that are flowing through our brain. I think eventually we could get there, and whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I think it's going to be a combination of both, just like everything else. I think somebody will want to use it for
Mm-hmm.
negative intentions, and most folks, though, I believe, would want to use it to help them
Mm-hmm.
to better their lives, to better the lives of their families, and those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's always going to be a give and take. And, right now there's a rush to get there. We've got a long way to go. And, but I do think eventually it will get there. I just don't know when. I think it
Yeah.
won't be in the next 30 years, quite honestly, just because of the technology hurdles that we still have to overcome. We've heard about quantum for 40 years, for goodness sakes, and
Yes.
it's always been right around the corner, and that corner
Mm-hmm.
seems to keep moving on us. And so I think for about 30 years at least, it'll take that long.
Yeah, I think you may be right on that. So, Dr. Allen, if we were to close on this topic, is say someone is watching the show 30 years from now, and they're looking at the prediction Dr. Ellen Badeau made on the future of AI and how the world will change, how humanity will change. What is your prediction?
Well, I think like any technology, it's going to get better. It's going to improve the lives and opportunities for a lot of folks. It's democratizing, capabilities in many ways. However, like every technology, there are going to be side effects, and I think some of those side effects are going to be um, more hacking type
Mm-hmm.
activity, more information of yours that becomes available to the greater ecosphere of
Mm-hmm.
social media, and I think those ramifications are going to be fairly significant. Now, that is also why I tell people, hold on to your digital identity, for goodness sakes. Don't put everything out there. Don't let a model
Mm-hmm.
use it, because that's, you only get one chance to maintain that and keep that as best you can. So don't do that. But, the more data we put out there, though, we're going to accelerate it.
Yes,
So I would,
absolutely.
we've got to protect that.
Do you see cloning and digital cloning becoming a part of the future, where we won't know
I
whether
do.
you will be talking about a human being or a virtual being?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I do. I think in 30 years it may be my digital clone that would be talking on, on the next show and yours, and they
Yes.
would have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think inserting our memories and inserting our everything about us will get us to a certain point. However, I think there's always going to be a scenario where something has to be done where only a human can really make
Very true.
those types of decisions.
Yes.
And even our digital clones won't be able to do that.
So you're predicting humans will exist 30 years from
I am predicting
now?
that,
Pretty
yes.
sure. Okay. You heard it on A Superconscious Leader. Thank you, Dr. Allen. It has been amazing. Again, if you can share, how can my audience find you? Would be great.
Yeah, just actually watch my Now Media TV show, AI Today, on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central. And then go to LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Allen. It's been truly a pleasure. I don't think 1 hour does justice to this show. So, but thank you for being here and exciting conversation and really, enlightening our audience with this topic. So, thank you, folks. Thank you for joining us on A Superconscious Leader. Please watch every week, 3 p.m. Central on Saturdays. And if you miss it, please go to Now Media TV and you can watch it there, or you can download the Roku, iHeartRadio, Apple TV app and watch it wherever you are. So thank you. Let's join me on next week on A Superconscious Leader. Remember, in the age of AI, you do not need to be superhuman. You just need to be super conscious. Thank you.